In a day and age where the sports media landscape is overloaded with fake tabloids and hot takes designed just for clicks, one show cuts through the chaos with pure, unfiltered honesty. From the End to the Bench Network, this is Givin Takes. Every week we go beyond the hype to explore the sports world, tackling the most relevant topics on the board while grinding through our starting nine. So, sit back, relax, and get ready for some real perspectives. Now, here's your host, Nate Miller.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Nate Miller, and this is Givin Takes, the online sports show where every week I sit down with all you lovely sports fans and we talk about sports. There's a lot of the stuff that's been going on in sports this past week, a lot that's coming up to talk about, as it is every single Monday, and I'm excited to get to it. And on the topic of this show being every single Monday, the next 2 weeks of your life, you will have to go without Givin Takes. So I won't be able to record for the next 2 weeks. So Monday, July 27th, after this episode airs, this episode 17, episode 18 will be coming out all the way when we get to July 27th. So there will be a couple weeks without the show, but don't worry. I'm sure you can find plenty of other shows on the Empty the Bench network to keep you occupied while I'm not able to record. Because, I mean, you can always catch Hitting for the Cycle, which is Thursdays at 8:30 p.m., Unnecessary Wagers, which is Fridays at 5. Both of those I'll be on this week after missing last week. I was away for the 4th of July. Happy belated 4th of July to everybody. And, yeah, I sure had a fun weekend keeping up with everything. World Cup related, all that stuff. Holland going off against Brazil was super fun to watch. So much drama with the U.S. men's team, who is, I don't know if the game has officially ended, but if it hasn't, like, they're basically eliminated. The game has ended. They are officially eliminated. So all that Valiant drama, just all for nothing, apparently. But we're still going to talk about it today, along with plenty of other things. So instead of beating around the bush, I'll just get to it and let you know the rest of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about today. So leading off, I'm going to be talking about that big trade between the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers, sending Jaylen Brown to Philly for Paul George, who went to Boston. Such just an interesting trade to me. We'll talk about it then. And then we're going to talk about Alexander Ovechkin's back in what I think is not bad, not odd, just odd. I got a couple thoughts on that, why I think that is odd. And then we're going to be talking about who's going to be getting LeBron in free agency. I'm coining it the LeSweepstakes. I'm surprised it hasn't been coined that yet. And I'm going to talk. I got 4 destinations in mind that everyone wants LeBron. He said he'll go anywhere. Rich Paul has a whiteboard. So what? A guy who's never even spoken to the man, undoubtedly know the only 4 spots he would theoretically go to. That makes sense. Then in the cleanup spot, we're going to be talking about that red card reversal, all the drama that kind of went along with that, but it didn't ultimately amount to much. We still lost to Belgium anyway, unfortunately, we being the United States of America, but still a noteworthy story that I do want to talk about. And then I want to talk about the year of 2026. It's the year of the underdog. Underdogs have been winning left and right in terms of championships and like preseason underdogs, which it just gets me like, it's very cool. I feel like we haven't had a year like this in a long time where champions just keep kind of coming out of nowhere and surprising you, whether it be teams no one expected or a team that hasn't won it in a very long time. There's a lot of different ways you can perceive that, and all of them have been true so far in this year of 2026. And then Paul Skenes, man, in the 6th topic, you see his jersey behind me. Where is he? This guy on the mound doesn't look like Paul Skenes. He's given up more runs than the Paul Skenes I've known the last 2 years. Who is this guy? What has he done with Paul Skenes? But in actuality, I do want to seriously talk about like what is up with Paul Skenes because it's not very good. I got some thoughts. And then as always, it's the State of the Union. And June came and went, and Yankees did it again. They sucked ass in June. Like, it is marvelous how bad they're able to be in June. Like, I have their record up right now because I was just looking at some of that stuff before the show started, and just in their last several games, not even just several, like the last 2 weeks have just been absolutely abysmal. So we're definitely breaking that down, and then we're going to be going in to the 3 studs of the week. As always, 3 guys within Major League Baseball who had standout performances this week, whether it be single game or week long. I mix it up. I let you know 3 guys who I think, stood out above the rest a little bit in this week of Major League Baseball. And then in the 9-hole, rounding us out, I got the June awards. If you were a frequent viewer of this show, specifically during the baseball season, I give out awards at the start of every month for the month that just took place for players in baseball. I have 6 awards that I give out. Well, I guess 4 are to players, 1 is to a team, and 1 is about a moment. But I'm going to be giving out those 6 awards today for the month of June. So that'll be the 3rd installment of the awards. Then we're going to get in, finally, to the top 10, as it always is. I'm not going to tell you what the top 10 topic is because I got to entice you to stay to the end of the video somehow, and that top 10 topic definitely gets you. But it's a good one this week. It's sports-related. We're back to being on sports-related with the top 10. And let's get it going. Let's talk about sports. Let's talk about this trade between the Celtics and the Sixers. Whew. I don't get it. I just don't get it. So if you haven't heard, if you live under a rock, first of all, that's impressive that you've been able to be alive this long with internet, watch the show, and manage to be under a rock at the same time. And second of all, the Sixers landed Jaylen Brown. The Sixers only received Jaylen Brown, and the Celtics received Paul George, a 2028 first-round pick that converts to a pick swap favorable to Boston if it lands high, a 2031 first-round pick, which is unprotected, and then a 2028 second and a 2030 second, and the second-round pick in 2038, or in 2028 rather, is going to be the most favorable between Golden State, Milwaukee, and Oklahoma City. So 4 picks in Paul George for Jaylen Brown. Philly, hats off to you. You were able to pull this off, make a phenomenal trade. I think the Sixers got an amazing deal out of this because they got a squad now. I mean, this is a team that just beat Boston in 7, coming back 3-1. I don't know why Boston made this trade with their rival. They just gave them an unreal roster of the combination of the 4 of Edgecombe, Maxey, Brown, and Embiid, if Embiid is healthy, is really, really good. We're talking potentially finals winning good. You got a former MVP, regardless how much he deserved the MVP he got, he's still technically an MVP. You got Tyrese Maxey, who played his ass off last year and was amazing. VJ Edgecombe's just going to keep getting better. And Jaylen Brown is the finals MVP and NBA champion. So you got good guys on that team. And now if Embiid is hurt, the replacement that you need for him doesn't have to be some highly offensively productive center. You don't need that out of the guy you need to replace Embiid with if he gets hurt anymore, because you kind of have all that secondary scoring covered now. You got 3 scorers on the outside with Edgecombe, Maxey, and Brown. That's good. You have places where the ball can go. And it just excites me. I think this team could most definitely win a title this year. Will they? I don't know. The East, we'll see how the Pistons bounce back after last year. What are the Knicks going to do? I doubt the Giannis Heat is going to be very good, but there's some teams in the East that can make some noise, but just pure roster rise. I know there's still a lot of time to go. I think they picked up Anthony Simons as well. It's a solid squad. Now, on the other side of that trade, why does Paul George get traded for everybody? He's been traded for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's been traded for Victor Oladipo. Now he's been traded for Jaylen Brown. What is the obsession with trading for Paul George? Paul George was fantastic when he was with Indianapolis. He was pretty good with Oklahoma City. Still had some good years in OKC. I think his 2018 was really good, if I remember correctly. but then like wasn't really that good with the Clippers. Like that's when we first saw like playoff P, or maybe like 2021. I think he started to fall off a little bit. Then you got like injury, and then you have his brief stint with the Sixers. Now here we are, and he's on the Celtics, and it's like he hasn't really been that guy. Like he was good against you in the last playoff series, and they were just a 7 seed last year. Like he lost to a 7 seed, not the 2 seed. Like Paul George, it's just a terrible move by Boston. Maybe not like the worst move in the world if the picks turn into like really, really good picks, because I know that there was some animosity between like the organization and Jaylen Brown, and there were some things like, oh, people wanted him out, like I get that, but like PG's old. You're not going to win a title with Paul George. Like, was this really just so much to set up your future? Like, are you giving up on now that much to the point where you're just putting everything in, all right, when we get 4 years down the line, we're going to be contending again? Like, I don't know. I don't know if I like that play by Boston, because Jaylen Brown, like if you were going to trade him, Jaylen Brown's name was being tossed around to get players like Giannis in return. Like, you could have gotten such a higher caliber player than freaking Paul George. Like, really? I get you wanted the pick. Like, you maybe just wanted the picks to set up your future, but you couldn't have tried to get like a legit number 2 for Tatum. You had to get washed PG-13. Like, I don't know. I don't understand what Boston was doing, unless they just truly have no faith in their current team, which I think would be odd since they were just the 2 seed, even though they lost. But that's Brad Stevens' job, not mine. I'll let him continue to make the trades. I'll continue to talk about it. And that's honestly all I got on that for now. Moral of the story, bad trade by Boston, amazing trade by Philadelphia. And that first game of Sixers Celtics, when Jaylen Brown goes back to the Garden, I think like the Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum guarding each other with different unis on in an NBA game is going to be a moment that you're going to want to probably tune into. Just, I'm not even the biggest regular season NBA fan, but I'll probably try to check that out. Ovechkin's back. Like that, I just went to the next topic. Ovechkin is back. I don't know why I'm getting so excited. It's not like I'm a fan of his or something. I don't even really like this move, because it's a 1-year, $4.25 million contract with the Capitals, obviously, and it's $1 million base salary, a signing bonus of like $3.2 million, I think it is, and then there's another big and there's like another like $5-ish million bonus if he plays 10 games. Which, like, if you're wasting a roster spot on him, you better hope he plays 10 games, because you can't bring Ovechkin back for charity. Like, do you not want to win? Like, that's what confuses me. Like, I didn't watch many Capitals games last year. I'll be the first to admit. I don't watch too much like consistent hockey, mostly playoffs. But from what I've heard and what I read and the little bit that I saw, Ovechkin wasn't really able to do much on that team last year. He just kind of sat and waited in his spot for the puck, and when he got his puck, he shot. And I mean, he put up 32 goals last season, so he was producing decently, but I don't know. I'd have to ask more Capitals fans that watch it much more intently, like, is Ovechkin coming back? People probably love it for the story and everything and the records he'll continue to break, but is it actually going to be productive for this Capitals team? I don't know, because this team missed the playoffs last year. And so far this offseason, I haven't heard much about anything else this Washington Capitals team has done aside from get Ovechkin back. So if you're just trotting the same lineup out there, I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know if that's smart. I mean, this is the thing. Like, why is Ovechkin coming back? I don't think he thinks he can win a cup with this team. I don't think he's going to think you take the same team that just missed the playoffs and he plays another year and they're going to go and win a cup. That's not it. So let's look at why he's doing it. I mean, he has 929 career goals. He's first all-time in that. We all know that. He's good there. Put up the 32 last season. Including playoff goals, he's got 1,006 all-time. That's only 10 behind Wayne Gretzky. So in the 11th goal that Alex Ovechkin scores next season will be his 1,017th, and that'll be the most total goals, regular and postseason, of any hockey player ever. So given that he was only 10 away from that, I can fully understand wanting to play another season and break another Gretzky record. I mean, hell, if I was any good at hockey and I was in Alexander Ovechkin's position, I would probably do the same thing. I get that. But it's like you probably knew that was going to happen. So why did you try to milk it last season and make it kind of seem like you were on a retirement tour? I mean, you had other players like you had stadiums giving you ovations when you were going off the ice for what everyone thought was the last time. We had the Capitals-Penguins game marketed to us as the last time Crosby and Ovechkin would ever face off. And, like, I think Malkin and Crosby got him, like, a Rolex or something to, like, commemorate, like, that last matchup in his career. Now he's just going to come back next season. Like, the reasons he wants to come back are valid, probably because, A, he wants to, even though the team missed the playoffs last year, that's not saying they can't make it this year. I just don't think they'll win a cup. So he probably wants to make the playoffs and break the Gretzky goal record. Both are totally valid reasons to want to come back, and I'm not trying to knock on him for that. But at the same time, like, just kind of weird. Like, I don't like that part of it that I kind of just said. How he made it seem like last year was going to be the last year, and everyone bought into it, and he never really said or did anything to make you think it wasn't going to go that way, and then all of a sudden, at least to my big surprise, he was back. So that's the only thing I don't like about it. I've gotten to a point with Ovechkin that I think Capitals fans will agree the same way, vice versa, about Crosby. It's not a hatred anymore. It's a respect. Ovi is a legend. Crosby is a legend. They play for different teams. Like, I used to hate Ovechkin in the Capitals, but now it's just like, the guy's good. Like, I won't root for him, but I also don't have, like, a hatred for him anymore. It's more of just I hope my team wins over your team because I respect the legend. And speaking of legends, what some regard as the greatest of all time, not me, I'm a Jordan guy, but he's a free agent, guys. LeBron is a free agent for the first time in a long time. I think it's been like 8 years almost, which is crazy to think his Lakers tenure was like that long. Like, it still feels like his Lakers tenure just started and he was just with Cleveland, but now you look and it's almost been a decade. And it's like, damn, all right, LeBron's still kicking it. Like, it's been a long time. So the question is, there are 4 truly legit possibilities of where LeBron would go. Now, it used to be 5. I used to have the Knicks on this list, but the Knicks fell off after the stuff I saw about that Rich Paul said about everything. That before the Knicks won the championship, it was like they didn't even need to think about it. LeBron was going to be a Knick. That's where he wanted to go. And then they won a title, and now they have to rethink things. And I think that's because LeBron wants to either like play with someone he really wants to play to, or he wants to play with someone that he's always wanted to play with that hasn't, or he wants to go out and win a title for a team that hasn't won it in a very long time, like he did with Cleveland and, like, I guess kind of did with the Lakers. I mean, it was only 10 years, so it's not like it was that crazy long of a time, but, you know, like, Brown wins titles when he goes to new teams. That's kind of his thing, so I can understand him wanting to have another meaningful title in his back pocket. The first one is the Philadelphia 76ers. I think they have one of the best potential starting fives in the league as of today. And adding LeBron onto that would make it a lot better. I mean, the post-Brown trade, like I just said, they have them. That has them looking like serious contenders. So that would be my first team that I would pick. Second, of course, is the Cleveland Cavaliers. He would be going back home. I don't know if he would care as much about the ring-winning thing in that scenario as much as he would just like to go back to Cleveland and end his career where he started it. And also, I saw that Cleveland was saving Bronny a roster spot. So they're trying to do their thing to get Bron in. They're like, we'll take Bronny with us too, which I don't know if LeBron would want or not. I don't know if he just wants his son to follow him anywhere. He probably wants Bronny to become like his own player. Like, so, I mean, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not LeBron James, but that's how I would think. I wouldn't want to drag my son with me everywhere. Like, I'd, let him play for his own team. Because, a photo of LeBron guarding Bronny, that would be sick. Like, father against son in the NBA going up against each other. That's something. Third, I got the Golden State Warriors. This is obviously just to play with Steph Curry and to play under Steve Kerr. There's not much else to say. LeBron and Curry, they went at it against each other in 4 straight NBA finals. They have created that admiration for each other that, like Ovechkin and Crosby have, like rivals that always go up against each other, but they don't really, like, there's not that hatred. Like, there's just, you hope you win. You don't really hope the other guy loses. So, I mean, the Golden State Warriors would be cool. I don't know how good of a team it would be, but in my opinion, that would be a really dope Golden State team. And I think I said this on the show, potentially last week, I think it was. It would be a really cool team to watch just because of all the historical implications that'll be going on every game. I mean, Curry is at the tail end of his career. Obviously, this is probably going to be LeBron's last year, I could see him signing a 2-year deal, get 1 season with Bryce James, his second son, if he's on that trajectory. That's max, though. I don't think there's any way LeBron goes 3 more seasons. I think 2 is his ceiling. But that would be such, like, they're both at the end of their careers. They both have a lot of records that they're very close to breaking or just, moving up ranks on the leaderboard, solidifying Hall of Fame careers and, like, top 2, 3 all-time status. I mean, it would be a very fun team to watch with all those historical implications. And then for fourth, I got the Denver Nuggets because I think LeBron would really like to play with Jokic. I haven't heard him say anything about that or reports about that, but I just have to imagine that LeBron loves the idea of playing with a center like Jokic that is that versatile. I mean, he won a ring with Anthony Davis, and I think Jokic is just a better version of that 2020 Anthony Davis. Like, you put Jokic on that, today's Jokic on that 2020 Lakers team, oh my God, it's one of the best teams in the history of basketball. So the Nuggets would be able to build around him. Obviously, LeBron would be in year like 24, which is just so old, but I would love to see him play with Jokic. I think that would be a fun combination, and I think those two would boost each other's stats pretty handily. And like I said, if I had to put my money on it, if I had to take a bet who's LeBron playing for next season, I'm taking the Philadelphia 76ers, honestly. I think it's the 76ers with how their roster is constructed, the fact that they just landed Jaylen Brown, and there's so much excitement around that team and organization right now that hasn't won it in a really long time, kind of like how like Cleveland was, like Philadelphia. I think we're going to see it. It would be crazy seeing Bron in Philadelphia. It's just kind of weird to picture, but that's my pick for where he goes. And now, this topic was going to be a lot more fun if the USA won tonight because it was actually going to mean something. Unfortunately, it doesn't, but we're still going to talk about it very briefly because I don't want to dwell on the U.S. losing too much. Let's talk about this red card reversal very briefly. So, Fullerton, I've had so much trouble pronouncing this man's name all day. I've seen 4 or 5 different people say it online. They all say it different ways. I can't find a consistent pronunciation of this man's name. It's been driving me crazy. But I landed on Fullerton Balogun. I think that's it. It's such a tricky name. But he was issued a red card against Bosnia and Herzegovina in the round of 32. He had a 1-game suspension that was reviewed and it was waived. And from what I heard, like I said, I'm not the most intelligent soccer mind. I don't watch it super consistently. I can't tell you every single rule. But what I have heard is that it was the VAR system that they used to like go over these things was used in an incorrect way, or it was used in a way it just shouldn't have ever been used in that situation. And that's what caused it to be a red card. So a lot of people were saying this never should have even been a red card in the first place. That was the first big gripe. And then it gets reviewed. There were some rumors, or not even rumors. Trump said that he went and asked the FIFA president about it, but I'm sure that's not the first they were thinking of reviewing it. Like, I doubt Donald Trump kickstarted the whole, maybe we should look into this red card. Like, that was definitely already in motion. So I don't think that has as big of an effect on it as people think. But at the same time, even if it did, at the end of the day, we still lost today, which sucked. And it's so unfortunate because Belgium acted like crybabies throughout this entire process. And I do want to make it clear, though. I'm talking about, like, a mix of fans and, like, the people who run stuff for the Belgian team. None of this was the players at all. Players, I never heard anything from. They never seemed to complain, which I think is good, and hats off to them because just Belgium just made themselves seem so foolish, in my opinion. And I'm just very happy it had nothing to do with the players because, you know, like, keep your head in the game. Like, that's what all these guys should have been doing. Because think about it. Like, there were talks of Belgium forfeiting. Like, what? Like, you were thinking, like, there were legitimate forfeit rumors going around. You were talking all this about, oh, we're going to take them to court. I bet you drop all of it now that you won. I bet you don't give a damn now that you won, obviously. But it's just very annoying to me that, like, it's kind of rude to these players. You made such a big stink about this one guy who, granted, he's pretty solid, best striker on the United States, but it's not like he's Haaland or Messi or Mbappe. Like, we're not talking about, like, a top 3 player in this tournament. Like, he is very good, but in my opinion, like I said, not the best soccer mind, but from what I've seen, he's not, like, top 3 guy like that. So just adding him back onto what is a solid U.S. team shouldn't make you shit your britches, like, over the whole thing. I mean, I just, like, you have that little faith in your players that you're talking about forfeiting, taking them to court, you're whining and complaining. It's like, why don't you just deal with your circumstances and play the game? It's an 11-man team. You're talking about one guy. Like, there's 10 more. Like, I am just baffled at how they were just like, yeah, we'll make ourselves seem like this is unfair. This is unfair. Like, they just whined and whined and whined. For what? Like, what? Was it going to change something? Like, granted, you won anyway. This would have been, I think, a bigger talking point and still an ongoing story had the U.S. won. Because Belgium would have still, you know, been salty and crying that they lost because they were, I think, so unconfident that they were going to win that they set themselves up for that. Everyone thought it would go to court, it would continue, and now Belgium wins, which I don't think is, like, too incredibly surprising, unfortunately. I don't think we've beaten them in 93 years, which is just crazy to me. But you just got to play the game still. Like, there was just all this drama and everything before the game. I retrospectively wonder about all the Balogun talk, and was that good for the U.S., or did that distract everyone on the U.S. from the task at hand in beating Belgium? I wonder about both things. I don't know how it goes, but at the end of the day, it was a story that was bigger and was probably going to be more ongoing for a longer period of time had the U.S. won the night, but I'm fairly confident that we'll start to hear the talks of this story dwindle rapidly over the course of the next, honestly, 2 days. I bet it gets talked about tomorrow still. You know, World Cup games are still on for the round of 16. But once we get to the quarterfinals, we're just going to stop hearing about it because it was never that big of a deal. Belgium just made it a big deal. I guess they were just very scared of him. I don't know. But you're now going to move on to something that makes me the exact opposite emotion of the last segment. Instead of getting all angry and uppity and upset at a foreign country, I'm going to get happy about the year of the underdog. Yeah. The year of the underdog has been fun. And you may not have realized it because obviously a lot of these teams that start off as underdogs, like, get good and kind of level out. And then, like, mid-season, you're like, oh, I won't be surprised if this team wins. And then they win, and it makes sense. But when you look at the preseason odds and the last time some of these teams have won and how consistent it has been with just major championships this year, it is very fun. So this will be a very quick segment, but I wanted to bring this up because I noticed this and I really liked it. So in the NFL, the Seahawks won the Super Bowl. They were plus 6,000 odds preseason. Oklahoma, they won the College World Series, as I've talked about on these last couple episodes. The first time they've won since 94, and I couldn't get their preseason odds, but pre-tournament, just tournament, after they had qualified, they were still plus 3,500. The Knicks obviously winning the NBA championship the first time since 1973. They were plus 900, so they were one of the more likely teams to win. But the first time since 73, I mean, that's a team we're seeing win that hadn't won in a long time. Same kind of thing in the NHL. First time in 20 years that the Hurricanes have won the Stanley Cup final after consistently falling short again and again and again in the Eastern Conference final. They were plus 750 preseason, not too underdogish, but once again, first time in 20 years seeing this team win. Then you go to the college football playoff. The Indiana Hoosiers win their first ever national championship. All of this has happened in this calendar year, mind you. First ever national championship. They ranged from, this is the biggest underdog on the list, unsurprisingly, I think. Plus 10,000 to plus 12,500 is where they ranged in the preseason odds. $1 would have made you 100. $10 would have made you 10,000. Actually, $1 would have made you $1,000 because $10 would have made you $10,000. No, wait. I'm forgetting how betting odds work. I had it right the first time. So $1 would have won you 100. $10 would have won you $1,000. I host a betting show. But yeah, it's incredibly long odds, insanely improbable win. Mind you, they went undefeated, didn't lose a game that year, and they were plus 10,000 to win it all. And then unfortunately, Michigan won March Madness. That one's not as fun to talk about, but still, I mean, you're a team that was like plus 2,000 preseason, and it was the first time since 1989 that they won it all after having like not that great of a year last year. So still a Michigan underdog. And then another dope one, the USA winning the Olympic hockey gold for the first time since 1980. They were the second favorite going into the tournament, but it was the first time in 46 years that we had won gold at the Olympics. So that's an underdog story. So with this being said, last little piece of theorization for this topic. What does this mean for the World Cup and the World Series? The two world things that we still got going on. I think this means the Brewers win the World Series. If we're looking at underdog teams, this is kind of like a Knicks or a Hurricanes to me. They don't have the longest preseason odds, but they've never won it. They've never won it before. So I think the Brewers are going to win the World Series this year. And I don't know who exactly to equate it to in the World Cup. I took a guess and just went with the 8 teams left, it would probably be Norway. That would be the most underdogish to win. So, yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it. Brewers World Series and Norway World Cup. I think that's the script because it's been all underdogs all year. And I honestly like it. I like it more. I mean, obviously, this would suck if the Dodgers won this year, but I feel like we've had enough years in the past of, Dodgers win the World Series, Chiefs win the Super Bowl, Panthers win the Stanley Cup. Like we've been through that kind of stuff so many times in the last 3 years that it's so refreshing to just look at a list of champions of Seattle, Oklahoma, the Knicks, the Hurricanes, Indiana. Not Michigan is not fun to look at, but in the USA winning the gold. Like, good year for the underdog. I hope it continues because seeing fresh champions and seeing new dynasties start and everything is just always very fun. And now we have a mission, ladies and gentlemen, sports fans. We have to find Paul Skenes. Where is he? What's been done with Paul Skenes? I mean, it's just been bad. And it hasn't been bad all year, right? I mean, up until he had 2 starts in May where he was good. Actually, I mean, the last time Paul Skenes won a game was May 12th against the Rockies, where he pitched 8 innings, only gave up 2 hits. Paul Skenes hasn't given up less than 4 hits since. He's gone 6 hits, 9 hits, 4 hits, 6, 6, 4, 4, 6, 6. Like, it's just... For your average pitcher, he's got a 3.62 ERA right now over 97 innings. He's given up 76 hits, 46 total runs, only 39 of them earned, 11 homers. Like, if you're just looking at, if I didn't tell you who the pitcher was, you'd probably be like, that's probably like 3-4 in the rotation type of guy. Like, that's a solid middle of the rotation guy. This is supposed to be the Pirates' generational ace, and he has been that generational ace for the last 2 seasons, and he was up until May 12th of this year. But I don't know what happened to this guy. It has just fallen off the rails. I mean, you look at his whip, too. I mean, he went from having, 0.7, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, like that under 1 consistently all year to now it's pushing, he averaged a whip of 1.23 in June. Like, that's over a base runner an inning getting on. That's over a base runner an inning getting on against Paul Skenes for an entire month. That's just not what we're used to as baseball fans, or for me as a Pirates and Skenes fan specifically. I mean, he just went up against Philadelphia on the first, and he gave up 6 hits, 8 runs, and 7 earned in just 4 innings pitched. Like, Philadelphia is good, but, damn, man. You gotta figure it out. I mean, the opponent batting average, too, has steady gone up about 30 points. It was in May, opponents were hitting 200. In April, it was 147. Now, it was actually a higher jump than I thought. Last month, opponents hit 248. June. I'm not counting July stats because it's just been 1 game for him. But he went from 147 batting average against in April to 200 in May to 248 in June. He has steadily been getting worse. Now, could part of this be that the league is starting to figure him out a little bit? Yeah, most definitely. That happens. Paul Skenes might need to just make some adjustments. But I also believe that Paul Skenes is smart enough to the point where if he needed to make strategical adjustments, within the at-bats and everything, that he's smart enough and his catchers are smart enough to work with him. Well, it's only really Henry Davis. And his pitching coaches would be able to figure out a strategical change because his stuff is that good. But I think he's injured. And that's why he's not playing that good, and I think he's playing through it. And the biggest tell for me is that those fastballs that we were seeing him zip by dudes at 100, that's down at 94 now. And when you get that fastball heater speed, when that starts to get closer and closer to the speed of your off-speed pitches, it makes it a lot easier for hitters to just sit fastball and react to off-speed because the timing's not that different. But when you're expecting someone to sit 100 and you drop 85 on them, that's rough. When someone's expecting 94 and you drop 85 on them, that's a lot less rough. Mid 90s to mid 80s is not as hard as low hundreds to mid 80s, even though in terms of the numerical difference, it's very, very close. Those couple extra miles an hour towards the top make a really big difference, and he doesn't have it anymore. I love Paul Skenes. I don't know why he's an all-star this year. I'd love seeing a Pirate there. I know there has to be one guy from every team, but Brandon Lau deserves to be an all-star. Braxton Ashcraft is a better pitcher than Paul Skenes on the same team this year in every statistical category you could find. So I don't know why he's not an all-star. Brian Reynolds, like I said, Brandon Lau. There were so many other Pirates you could have picked. You picked Paul Skenes for his name, and I don't think that's fair because I won't even say it's entirely team-based because the best replacement I can think of is honestly another guy on my favorite team. Give Braxton Ashcraft a chance. Paul Skenes, I genuinely think Paul Skenes should take the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. route and sit out of the All-Star game. I think he should. Now, granted, I think actually the way the pitching schedule is going to go for Skenes, he's not going to pitch in it anyway. I think he's slated to start the Sunday before the break. And given how his season has been, I think he needs to take a page out of Vladimir Guerrero's book, which I thought was a very classy move by Vladdy that he understood. Because once again, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is not having a good year, but it's not his fault he's in the All-Star game. It's the fans voted him in. So the fact that he had the situational awareness of everything to be I am not the best choice, clearly. I believe I'm underperforming to my standards. I am going to sit out of this game and take time to work on my game and get better for the second half. I think that is incredibly admirable by Vladdy because that also gives a guy, Nick Kurtz, who has never started in an All-Star game before. Now he gets to start it first. I think that situation, how that played out, is good for everybody. It It also makes more people realize fan voting sucks and should not be in the sport anymore. So why doesn't Skenes do that? Skenes should sit out, and I think he should make it seem like he's sitting out because he's not having a good year. Don't make it seem like it's because you just pitched, because I think that takes away from it a little bit. But let people know that you're not the Paul Skenes you wanted to be this year. I think he needs to do that because we're not just used to this. I mean, he's on the Pittsburgh Pirates. He went from best starter in all of Major League Baseball to not even cracking top 3 on his team sometimes, honestly. I mean, at certain points of the season, Skenes has been the 4th best starter on the Pirates. There were points where I would have taken Carmen Mlodzinski, now Jared Jones, but either one of those two. Bubba Chandler's been starting to pitch better, and Braxton Ashcraft has been our best ever since, honestly, like early May. So there's a lot to break down with it, but Skenes was due for a down year. Rookie of the year, Cy Young. Now it's just meh year. I can handle that. I can swallow that. I can take that, but it's just like we need to fix it. And I honestly hope it's a non-serious injury, just something to his throwing arm, because then it's just like you get some surgery done in the offseason, because I respect if he's trying to play through it because he thinks we've got a great offense. But at the end of the day, this is something that should be taken care of much sooner rather than later, because I hope it's just an injury, like a minor injury thing, and not like either something long-term for Skenes, or I also hope the league just hasn't figured him out, Like, I don't wish injury on him necessarily. I just hope for the sake of his career and the Pirates as a team that there is like a tangible thing to fix with Paul Skenes to make him return to old Paul Skenes, if that makes sense. Whew. Now, let's talk about another baseball team, because it is time, ladies and gentlemen. Give yourselves drum rolls at home while I sip my water. Bang, yeah, you ended at the perfect time. It's State of the Union time, baby, and we're talking about the New York Yankees this week. This was a team that, I believe it is back when I did the April Awards, they had won the team of the month. This was a team that was good, that was good, that had a healthy Judge and was really seeming like they were going to go out and win it all. I mean, at the end of April, they had the best record in the American League at 25-12. They were plus 74 run differential in just those 37 games. And they were tied for second in runs scored in the MLB with the Cubs, 200. The offense was clicking. The pitching was looking insane with Fried and Schlittler and Rodon and Garrett Cole on the horizon to come back. Every single vibe you could have about the Yankees was through the roof when May started. And then Judge gets hurt, and he's not the same. It starts to dwindle down in May. But, hey, you know what? Like, they're not that bad right now. Like, they're actually seeming like they can, put it together against Judge. Maybe they won't crumble in June this year. I think that's what everyone was thinking. And then and then they crumbled in June. And the June crumble has bled into July as well. I mean, if we go all the way back to the last time the Yankees won back-to-back games, it was against the Detroit Tigers. They beat them 4-2 on June 24th to move to 48-31. That's where the Yankees were the last time they won back-to-back games. But before they won those back-to-back games, they had lost 3 out of 4. So I kind of consider that losing 3 out of 4 stretch the start of the downfall. Because before that, they had 4 straight wins, a loss against the Blue Jays, and then another sweep against the Guardians. I mean, we're talking, I'll get the exact date for you here really quick. On June 8th, all the way up until June 17th, in that time span, the Yankees had only lost 1 game. Now, since then, the Yankees, including tonight, have won 5 games. I mean, you were talking about a stretch where they lost 7 in a row to the Red Sox and Tigers. 2 teams who you should be smacking. Like, what is it with the Yankees in June every year just turning into imbeciles? You lost the series to the Twins. I think the Twins are one of the worst teams you could put out in baseball right now. With Buxton hurt, when Buxton was injured, like, I'd started to come around on the Twins. Big Twins hater. Then I kind of leveled out on the Twins, and now I have no faith in the Twins anymore. Now that Buxton's going to be hurt for a little bit. But Schlittler, I mean, tonight, it was good. Caballero hit 2 homers. Schlittler went 8 innings. They beat the divisional rival Rays 5-1. They took care of business tonight. Maybe that can be the start of the turnaround. But they haven't been taking care of business. Just every way you've cut it, they've been bad. They put up over 5 runs during this terrible stretch that I was talking to you about, where they've only won 5 games. They haven't put up 5 runs. The most they've put up is 4. The Yankees haven't put up 5 runs since they beat the White Sox 10-5 on June 17th. Like, that is the last time the Yankees have scored 5 runs before tonight, obviously. Not counting tonight. Like, I prepped all these stats in this stretch before the game took place tonight, and I was really banking on them not scoring 5 runs. But they did, and they ruined my stat. I digress, however, though. The Yankees have been really bad, and the question is, how do you fix it? Well, I think it starts in the front office. Brian Cashman, you've had Aaron Judge on your team now. It's going to be a decade next year, and he's gotten hurt, I'd say, I don't know the number off the top of my head. I didn't think to look at it, but I'd say in at least half of the seasons that Judge has played, he's gotten hurt for some period of time. Like, that just is kind of a theme for him. So by now, the fact that you haven't been able to figure out how to build a team that can survive and win a serviceable amount of games when Aaron Judge is not in the lineup is so incredibly baffling to me. Like, I just actually don't get it, Brian Cashman. How have you not been able to do this? You have had all the time, all the people you could have ever wanted to put around you to help you make this decision, and one of the most storied, money-rich, and just able to spend organizations ever in baseball. Probably only second to the Dodgers. You suck. Like, you just suck. Like, they're still going to get Judge back and probably make the playoffs and do who knows what. But you can't continuously just rely on one man to be the spark plug that carries your entire offense. Like, you need a number 2. I get it's Ben Rice right now. Ben Rice has been having a good year. He's been a 2. Bellinger and Goldschmidt have been solid. Caballero's been a nice piece, but he's been up and down. I know he's been injured a little bit. You just need more consistency, I think, is all. I mean, there needs to be more consistency in this Yankees lineup. I mean, Aaron Judge, I think that's it. I just figured it out myself thinking about it. You have guys who can be number 2s, but aren't those number 2s consistently. Judge has consistently been like top dog, but, you know, minor slumps at the beginning of the season, sometimes some in June, and he gets injured. But for the most part, Judge is very consistently good, and you just haven't been able to find that consistency, honestly, since Juan Soto. You still had Juan Soto, which, good thing you got rid of him, because I feel like he's a basket case now. But the Yankees need consistency, that they are craving consistency and do not have it. And that's what's hurting them, because they are a good team. Like, on paper, they got the guys. Like I said, Schlittler, Fried, Rodon, Cole, Aaron Judge when he's healthy, Jason Dominguez, who is a highly touted prospect, Cody Bellinger, Caballero. I'm just trying to think of Yankees off the top of my head. Paul Goldschmidt. Austin Wells has not really been having that type of year, but you go around and it's the guys you want, right? That's the point I'm trying to make. It's the guys you want. So, I mean, I just don't know. How do they do this every June? How do they do it every June? How do they suck in the month of June every single year? It's like with the way they're conditioned or something. I don't know. I do believe they will pick it back up because, like I said, there are 2 different types of State of the Unions. One that's kind of like this is the end unless you change something. And there's the other ones that are kind of like you're not so good right now, but I believe you'll figure it out. This is kind of a mix of both, because I do believe they'll figure it out, but, oh, God, it's just so bad. Like, they're too big to fail. They will figure it out, but, like, they need to figure it out now. And just for the love of that organization, after the man either retires, because I don't think Judge will ever go to a different team, like, Figure out how to win games without that man, because the fact you haven't been able to in 10 years is embarrassing. Embarrassing. What's not embarrassing is how good the performances were from this week's 3 studs of the week. That's right. It's another slick topic change for you. As always, I got the small stud, the medium stud, and the big stud in Major League Baseball. The topic might take a little bit of extra time this week just because I have a little bit I want to say about the story regarding the big stud this week. So the small stud really quickly is Junior Caminero. His heater, his unreal tear, I believe, has come to an end. But he did homer in 3 of the 6 games he played this week, which made his hot stretch 8 of 9 games he hit a home run in, which is absolutely unreal for a guy who I believe is only 22 years old. He's younger than me, and he's hitting 8 home runs in 9 games. Absolutely crazy. I do believe it's coming to an end because he hasn't hit a home run in either of his last 2 games, so now you can't really say it's that kind of dominant streak anymore. 8 of 9, it's just like 8 of 11 now, probably be 8 of 12 after the next game or after tonight's game fully loads into the stat sheet. I mean, it's come to an end, but it deserves a nod because he didn't have a dominant week filling up the box score. Junior Caminero just had a hell of a run, and basically all I'm trying to say is I wanted to give him some props for it. The medium stud, nice little single-game performance here off the bat of Jake McCarthy on the Rockies. On July 3rd against San Francisco, he went 4 for 5, 6 RBIs, 10 total bases, scored twice, and that was off of – he knocked himself in twice. He had a solo home run, and he had a grand slam. So, Jake McCarthy, have a day. I mean, 10 total bases – are you kidding me? 6 ribbies, 4 hits, 2 homers. Like, when you fill up the stat sheet like that, that is just one of those games, man. So hats off to Jake McCarthy. And the big stud of the week is Eury Perez. Now, if you know, you know. If you don't know, get ready to get pissed at the Marlins manager. I actually have to look up his name. I'm going to call him out by name. Clayton McCullough, you are my least favorite manager in the MLB. Why? Because Eury Perez gets the big stud of the week. He went 7 perfect innings against the Athletics. 21 up, 21 down for Eury Perez with 8 strikeouts. And his manager pulled him at 92 pitches in the 8th. Unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. You just don't do that as a manager. You don't. It's legitimately like messed up. Like I can't even comprehend 92 pitches, perfect game, pulled. Like I get Derek Shelton pulled some stuff like that before, but I also hated Derek Shelton. Like I don't think it was ever smart when he did stuff like that. Because at the time, I'm trying to find exactly what the score was at the time of Eury Perez being pulled. But he shouldn't have been pulled. I can't find the exact box score, unfortunately. I'm trying to look for it on the fly here. Can't seem to get it. But how do you pull Eury Perez? I mean, 7 innings. 7 perfect innings. Okay, I did find the box score. So at the time of Eury Perez being pulled, the score was 8-0. 8-0 going into the 8th inning. He was pulled top 8. Athletics hung 5 runs up in the bottom of the 8th. On 3 straight batters, the Marlins bullpen ruined his perfect game with a walk, then his no-hitter with a hit, and then someone got an RBI on the 3rd hitter to ruin the shutout. So in 3 straight batters, they absolutely ruined this man's potentially only chance at a perfect game. Like, you don't just see guys go 7 perfect. Like, that's not just a thing that happens. Like, oh, he'll get a chance again. Like, you legitimately took away his chance at a perfect game. What an absolute jerk move by the Marlins manager. I mean, they only won 9-8 too, by the way. They are so lucky they put up 1 run in the 9th to make it 9-5 when it was 8-5, because they won 9-8. That I honestly wish the Marlins would have lost that game. Not because I have any hate towards any of the players on the team or I want them to lose for reasons in the standings, but just because of that idiot manager, it makes me so mad that, like, who does this? I don't know, 92 pitches. 92. Yuri Perez's career high in pitches. I'm going on a much more of a rant than I thought I would about this, so I'm looking stats up on the fly about it. Yuri Perez's career high in pitches is 100, and he did it last year on September 27th, where he recorded a high of 11 Ks. So this man is in a perfect game, and you don't even let him go past his career high in pitches? Like, what the... no, like... If I'm Yuri Perez, I low-key hate that man for the rest of my life, because I hope he gets a no-hitter or something like that. Or, I mean, because it was a perfect game. Like, he would need to get a perfect game again through 7 in order to make up for what his manager did. It's just, I'm not going to rant about it anymore, because this is a fun topic. It's 3 studs of the week. This is not the topic where I rant about the Marlins manager, even though that very well could have been its own topic. But I snuck it in here because Yuri Perez did clearly have the best pitching performance of the week. Could have been a perfect game. We may never know. But running that back for you, the small stud was Junior Caminero. The medium stud was Jake McCarthy. And the big stud was Yuri Perez. Now, finally, for the 9th topic, just before we get into the top 10, I'm going to give you all the June Awards. It's time for the June Awards. We're going to lead off with the Mound Maestro. This goes to the best pitcher of the month, and I have given that in the first. I actually wish I kind of wrote down who I gave it to every month. Maybe I'll do that after this episode, so I have it for when I do it in July. But I believe in April I gave it to Mason Miller. Last month, I gave it to Christopher Sanchez. And this month, it goes to Jacob Mizorowski. 3-1 in 4 starts this season, posted an ERA of .96, 38 strikeouts, 8 walks, a whip of .71, a complete game shutout against Philadelphia, which I'll actually be talking a little more about later. And the opponent batting average was 128. He only gave up 4 runs, 3 of which were earned in 28 innings. I mean, I don't like the guy because he's a Brewer. I don't like that this guy is a Brewer, but it's very fun to watch Jacob Mizorowski pitch. He is a dog. And very deserving of his first Mound Maestro award. Then, the big old Boomstick Award goes to Pete Crow Armstrong this month. Smashed 11 home runs. 20 RBIs, 5 doubles, 2 triples, scored 21 runs, notched 40 total hits, and he hit for the cycle. So, I mean, 11 home runs. I believe that was either first or tied for second in the league in home runs in the month of June. I don't think of PCA as a power guy like that. I really don't. I think of him as more as kind of an all-around speed guy that has some pop, but it's not like always on display. He went nuclear in June with 11 home runs. I was originally thinking like I was going to give it to Yordan again, but Yordan just didn't have that kind of month, only 6 homers. I was like, damn, PCA almost doubled your homers, Yordan? Gotta give it to PCA. Just incredible month. Now the Bat on Ball Award, which goes to the reliable contact hitter of the month. That's going to be Yandy Diaz of the Tampa Bay Rays. Posted a .385 batting average this month. Slash line of .465, .479, .944. That goes on base percentage slugging and then on base plus slugging. Appeared in 26 games. Recorded 114 plate appearances. Was 37 for 96. Had 6 doubles, a home run, 15 ribbies, 15 strikeouts, 14 walks. When your leadoff guy's hitting .385 and his on-base percentage is .465 in a month because he's drawn 14 walks and he has as many strikeouts as RBIs, that's a guy you consistently want on your team. I mean, Yandy Diaz, have a month. I believe the other 2 players I gave this to in months past were Otto Lopez and Ildemaro Vargas. So Ildemaro Vargas, Otto Lopez, and Yandy Diaz. Those are the 3 Bat on Ball Award winners so far this month. Now the Diamond Defender Award. This is my favorite award because I love giving shout-outs to fielding. This one goes to Andy Pages on the Los Angeles Dodgers. In 228 in the 3rd innings this year in the outfield, he had 67 total chances, 63 putouts, 4 assists, and the big thing that did it for me was he still does not have an error yet this year. It's not the easiest thing in the world to go an entire season without making an error, just because, errors happen. Sun gets in your eyes. Wind blows a weird way. You just make a bad throw because, hell, everyone makes bad throws sometimes. It's a part of baseball. 0 errors, still a 1,000 fielding percentage. Obviously, 1,000 fielding percentage in the month of June if he has 1,000 fielding percentage still for the entire season, but incredibly impressive by Andy Pages. It's always really nice to have, speaking from a guy who at the beginning of the season, his team's biggest problem was his outfield defense. I can respect the fact that they got a center fielder that has committed 0 errors so far this year. Now, I'm going to be giving out the Top Dog Award, which goes to who I believe was the best team of the month. And I know I just poo-pooed and shit all over their manager, but they deserved it. And they also deserve this. The Miami Marlins, you get the Top Dog Award for the month of June. They were 8 games under 500 before this month started. They went 20-8, which is a franchise best. I wasn't able to find out if it was the franchise best for June or just franchise best month for Marlins, period. But they did break a franchise record going 20-8. Their run differential was plus 53. And as of before this episode started recording, before the games got going today, they were 7 games over 500 and firmly in the wild card hunt. So due to a franchise best 20-8 June, the Marlins have officially went from bottom of the barrel to back in the wild card race. And when you're at this point of the season, those are the type of months you need to have if you're one of these fringe teams. Like the Pirates need to look to have a July like that if they want to make it on. So, or if they want to make it in. So we'll see how it goes. But in terms of the Marlins, hats off to you. I still don't like your manager very much because of what he did to Yuri Perez, but a very impressive month of June, and it makes the playoff race a lot more interesting. And finally, the Moneyball Award. This is just a moment that makes you go and look like, how can't you feel romantic about baseball? Like the famous Brad Pitt quote from Moneyball. I need to be better at keeping my eyes out for stuff like this and saving it because I see these things and I think I take note of them enough to remember whenever June awards come up, and I always forget. I have forgot 3 consecutive months so far, so I'm going to look to change it in July. But one that I was able to remember that I really did like, that didn't even happen too long ago, was a Blue Jays fan. It was in Texas. Wyatt Langford hit a home run. Blue Jays fan caught it, probably about my age, and then he sees a kid that's probably like 12, 13 maybe, young teenager, wearing a Texas Rangers jersey. As I said, this kid was wearing a Vladdy jersey because the teams were playing each other. He catches the home run ball, great, probably wants to keep it, but because it's not a foul ball either. A home run's a little bit different than a foul ball. You might want to keep that one depending on who hit it. Wyatt Langford hit it, and the guy who caught it gave it to the kid wearing the Rangers jersey. He was like, your team hit it, you can have this ball, which I think is very, very cool. I'm not sure if he was wearing specifically Wyatt Langford's jersey, but he was wearing a Rangers jersey, and that's just good moment, good gesture. You always see that stuff happen in the stands. It just makes you feel good about baseball. Gives you faith in humanity. Whew. So that is it for our starting 9. It was a fun starting 9. A lot to break down. And we've been breaking down a lot of stuff for this entire year of 2026 on Givin Takes. So now, for this week's top 10, I'm going to be giving you my top 10 favorite sports moments of 2026 so far. These are not what I think are the best. This is not like I'm trying to be objective. This is an incredibly subjective Nate Miller's opinion, the 10 things that I liked watching the most this month. Number 10 is Brian Reynolds' walk-off home run against the Twins. Pirates haven't had that many walk-offs this year. They've just either blown the lead or won normally, it feels like, let alone walk-off homers. This one was Friday night, under the lights. He pimped it a little bit. Very fun clip. Great energy. That's at number 10. At number 9, I said I was going to come back to this. I got Jacob Mizorowski's complete game shutout against Philadelphia. And I put that above my Pirates walk-off because I still believe that game is one of the best pitching performances of my lifetime. He threw a Maddox, he threw a complete game shutout and faced the minimum in under 100 pitches and had 15 Ks. I mean, I genuinely loved seeing that, even though it was on the Brewers, because I have just never seen that dominant of a pitching performance recently, I feel like. I mean, facing the minimum 15 Ks. Number 8 is Venezuela beating Japan in the World Baseball Classic quarterfinal. That game, everyone thought it was over when Japan went up. Like, Venezuela had the lead, and then Japan got a big lead, and Venezuela took a bite back of the lead, and then boom, big home run. Venezuela beats Japan. They go on to win it all. That was a huge upset. I had money on Venezuela that game, so that was fun for me for multiple reasons. Great atmosphere. So much fun watching that team take down the reigning champs. That's at number 8. Number 7, I got Spurs Thunder Game 7. I was hate watching the Thunder so much during that series. I did not think the way Shea played at all during the course of the season with the foul baiting deserved to be rewarded with the trip to the finals and a conference championship. And our last hope for them to be stopped was the Spurs, and it went to Game 7 in OKC, in which they had never lost a Game 7 at OKC. The Spurs finally did it. They took them down. They beat the Thunder at home in a Game 7 for the first time in franchise history. Absolutely electric game, and it was so cool seeing Wemby take them down. That made me feel so happy. Number 7 on the list. At number 6 is a recent one. I got Cabo Verde going up against Argentina in the round of 32. Given how big of an underdog Cabo Verde was, and the fact that Argentina is the reigning champs with potentially the greatest player of all time, some argue, and Lionel Messi on their team, the fact that Cabo Verde took them to the brink, like extra time. I mean, it was 1-0. Everyone thought, yep, Argentina's got it. And then, boom, they tie it up. And then 2-1, oh, now it's over. And then, boom, nope, they tie it up. And then, ultimately, they did end up losing 3-2 in extra time. But they made a statement. They went out there and gave us one hell of a game to watch 4th of July weekend. That was an awesome, awesome game. Number 5, I got the USA winning the hockey gold against Canada. As I said, the first time the United States had won it since 1980. It was a long time coming, and it felt like it united the country. But actually, it also kind of divided the country at the same time. I won't get into that, but I loved this. We hadn't won in such a long time. The women won this year too, so the fact that both of our teams won in hockey, I thought was absolutely phenomenal. It's just good vibes for the country, and the photo of Jack Hughes, with the tooth missing, going up like this with the American flag. That's one of like those iconic American sports photos now. Like, you don't really realize it when you see it the first couple times or when it's first taken, but when 4th of July comes around and you start seeing that photo floating around, that, yeah, you got one of those all-time American sports photos. So given how big of a moment that was, I feel, for American sports history, got me the number 5 spot. Number 4, I got the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl. This is for a multitude of reasons. 1, I did not want the Patriots to win because, A, I don't like them, and B, they would have passed the Steelers all time in Lombardies. Definitely didn't want that. 2, Sam Darnold won. He was a guy you can parlay that into the Seahawks winning it all for the year of the underdog. Sam Darnold, before his year with the Vikings last year, had just been completely given up on, basically, and then lit it up with the Vikings. It was a feel-good story, came close, didn't get it done. I think everyone just kind of thought that was that and didn't really take him too seriously. Then he goes to the Seahawks and says, yeah, I can do that shit again. And he went out and he did it again. I mean, just an absolutely dominant year, 1 seed in the NFC. I mean, you're thinking if that one Vikings-Lions game goes a little bit different last year, we're talking about 2 different Sam Darnold quarterback teams that were the 1 seed in back-to-back years. I mean, just so cool to see how he's turned his career around. And obviously the Spartan dog, Kenneth Walker, taking home the Super Bowl MVP was very cool as well. Loved everything about that. Got it at number 4. But the game that happened 2 weeks before finds itself at number 3. Because boy, oh boy, the NFC Championship. Oh, it was so good, and I have a couple reasons for this. 1, it was just an amazing game, back and forth, absolutely electric, so many points, which I can appreciate defense and good football, but at the end of the day, I also like seeing a bunch of points. Like, let's be real, everyone does. 2, I had a 5-leg touchdown parlay on that game that I hit on for like $600. So I made a lot of money off that game. And I also hit another parlay for like $120. Made like $700 off that game. Most money I've ever made watching a single game before in my life. So also for financial purposes, it got boosted up a little bit to number 3. But everything about that game was so entertaining, and I can't wait to watch those two teams play each other twice, hopefully 3 times next year. I really want to see a playoff rematch against those teams. Number 2, we got the Duke and UConn Elite 8 matchup. What a comeback that UConn made. What a way for that game to end with the Boozer turnover. And then I think it was, I can't remember who hit the 3. It's been so long, even though it hasn't really been that long. I guess it's been like 2-ish, a little over 2-ish months. But absolutely incredible finish to that game. I was out golfing at the time that game was on, and I just remember the vibes in our cart were like, we were checking the score. We're like, yeah, UConn's dusted. Like, it's over. They play a couple holes, and we're like, oh, hey, UConn, like, they're still in the game, actually. Like, it's only like 12 points. Then we look again near the end, and we're like, yo, UConn's only down like 4 right now. And then, bang, UConn wins. We go crazy. I have great memories of that game, watching it on the phone in the golf cart. One of the best endings to a college basketball game I've ever seen. And I think it rivals only the Villanova, North Carolina national championship ending from 2016. Just, I'm at a loss for words. Absolutely, absolutely amazing college basketball game. But, and this just barely snuck in to qualifying for being in 2026. If you knew me and my fandom, if you're paying attention to what's going on back here, I feel like you should have been able to guess this. I'm gonna give everyone 5 seconds to guess what my number 1 sports thing is gonna be. It just barely snuck into the ear. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My number 1 favorite sports moment of 2026, and honestly one of my favorite ever, is Tyler Loop missing a field goal to send the Steelers to the playoffs. Steelers-Ravens Week 18 was one of the best football games of the year. It was met at the start. Steelers maybe looked like they were going to win. Then Ravens came alive. They took the lead. Then the Steelers came back, and they took the lead. And then the Ravens took the lead again. And I'm not even exaggerating. This is the flow of the game. They took the lead again. And then the Steelers took the lead again, but missed an extra. Boswell missed an incredibly rare extra point to make it to where now if the Ravens are able to get down the field and get a field goal, they will go to the playoffs. They are able to go to the playoffs. It will not be overtime. It will be goodbye Steelers. Because the winner of that game was in, the loser of that game was out. That was, for all intents and purposes, Week 18 Ravens-Steelers was a playoff game. It had the feel and vibe of a home playoff game, and we won on a missed field goal. Obviously, it didn't amount to much, because we just went on to get brutally beat down by Houston. Even though we held our own for about 3 quarters, it got away from us in the 4th. We got beat pretty bad, but man, like that is one of, I cannot tell you, like, when I watch Steelers games, I'm a different animal. Like, I love Pittsburgh sports. I do. And you hear me talk about the Pirates, but there's some about the Steelers, the week to week of it. Like, I get passionate about it. And that game, I was so ready to check out, but with all the kicks that have been missed all year, I had so much faith that we could still win. So many emotions. I watched that, and I'll stop talking about this soon, but, I mean, it's my favorite sports moment of the year. You had to assume I was going to ramble a little bit. I watched that Tyler Loop kick and people reacting to the Tyler Loop kick and people talking about the Tyler Loop kick. For no joke, probably like 6 hours after the game ended. Like, it was like, I was just so like, give me this clip and this moment in as many ways as you possibly can. It's probably the ADHD in me, but I was absolutely obsessed with it, and I will forever be obsessed with that number 1. Unless like the Pirates win the World Series or something, or Paul Skenes throws a no-hitter, I seriously doubt that gets it dethroned in the year of 2026. So running back those top 10 favorite sports moments, Brian Reynolds' walk-off home run versus the Twins at 10, Mizorowski's complete game shutout against the Phillies at 9, Venezuela beating Japan in the WBC quarterfinal at 8, Spurs Thunder game 7 at 7, Cabo Verde and Argentina at 6, USA winning the gold at 5, the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl at 4, Rams Seahawks NFC Championship at 3, Duke UConn Elite 8 at 2, and Steelers Ravens Week 18. Tyler Loop misses field goal and makes me happy at number 1. Whew, so that's it. That's all I got for you today. That was, I know, episode was a little bit later than usual by about a half hour, but so you're sticking with me late here into the hour of 11:15, and I thank you for it. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I hope you all had fun, and as I said at the top, this will be the only time you see me for the next, honestly, for the better part of July. You won't see me on here live on a Monday for 21 more days. I know, I'm just as sad about it as you are. I love spending time with you. You love spending time with me. It's a great relationship that the two of us, or actually the 336 of us, got going on right now, because it's me and 335 of you still watching at home here, which I absolutely love and appreciate every week. Always, always, always love it. And I know we won't be able, like I said, on the 13th, you won't be able to watch me. You'll be watching the Home Run Derby, hopefully. Then the 20th, you won't have me either. But then, like I said, July 27th, I'm back here in the chair at the set talking to you lovely fans about sports. But this week, you can also catch me on Hitting for the Cycle, Thursday at 8:30, and Unnecessary Wagers on Friday at 5. And obviously, as we inch closer and closer to football season, there will be schedule changes with this show, maybe some other shows that I'll be appearing on. None of that has been set in stone yet, but it is in motion, and I will be sure to let all of you know those changes if and when they happen, so you can get as much Nate Miller sports content in your downtime as your little heart desires. So once again, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to Givin Takes this evening. I appreciate all of you. I hope you all enjoyed it. And as always, I've been Nate Miller. Those were my takes.